But it's gonna be cool, I promise. That wouldn't do anybody any good. Well, maybe burn fast, but it might get out of control. And we don't want any of that. Yeah, wouldn't you know? Through a chain. Sounds about right. What could possibly be bad about walking down a creek? I mean, outside the obvious, like get hurt or run into a bear or a snake or something like that. I'm excluding all that. No, the only bad thing about walking down a creek is you got to walk back. Hey guys, it's been a minute since I did a video. I've been doing a lot of finishing up some commercial stuff, and now we're getting back to the fun stuff. So I'm out here at a new property we just bought. I'm gonna walk up to the front of it here. It's a little over 4 acres out in Denison. This place needs a lot of cleaning. A lot of overgrown trees and brush and trash off in the woods. There's 2 houses on the property that have to be demoed. Get all that hauled off. We're gonna have a big burn pile. We got a lot of stuff to clean up. So I'm gonna walk up here to the corner of the property. Just kind of walk you down the road so you can see what we're starting with. And this will be there'll be several videos on this one. It's got some big plans for this little property, so you'll have to stay tuned to see how it turns out. But it's gonna be cool, I promise. All right, I'm at the corner of the property. So this is the road that leads into it. The property starts on those power poles and goes that way. So you can see it's just a bunch of thicket back in there. We got water we're gonna have to deal with. There's kind of a little creek, if you will, like a dry creek or runoff creek that runs around the back side of the property that way. We'll get all that cleaned up. You can see there's a lot. Power company came through and set new poles, and they trimmed a bunch of these trees back off the power line. And you can see they left a bunch of stuff for us to deal with, but that's okay. Get all this. We'll bring the excavator out here and pluck all that stuff out, pile it up and burn it. You can't even see into the property. It's just a grown-up mess. There's a slide from somewhere. Anybody needs a good slide. And then we're coming on around here. Like I said, there are 2 houses on this property. They're gonna have to be dealt with. This would be one of them. It's not a bad looking house from the outside, but it's got some roof damage. It's taken on a lot of water, and there's a bunch of good old black mold inside of it. So we'll tear that thing down and get it out of the way. Got a whole car here if anybody wants one. Big old cedar tree here. It'll get cleaned up, clean underneath it, make it a nice canopy tree. Be a good place to sit. There's a couple different septics on the place, so we'll try to reuse those. Little storage shed. That's a well pump house right there. There's a barn back in there. You can't really even get to it from all the thicket. A lot of tin on that. Get all that torn down. The barn's in bad shape. This is the only clear area of the place, actually. It was way back on in there. All that stuff's got to clean all that out. All those vines and all this. There's this big, massive pine tree here. This thing is gigantic. So we can get all that cleaned up underneath it. That'll be a nice place. I can't even walk back there to the other house, but there are two sheds right there. I don't know, can you tell the size of that pine tree? I mean, that thing has got to be at the base, God, at least 4 foot across. That thing's massive. This camera probably doesn't do it any justice. But you can kind of see the house back in there. It's all grown up around it. There's an above ground pool back there too. Dogs all barking about something. Yeah, all this. There's a fence line that runs right through here. They'll take all that mess out. And then, where's that light pole at? Oh yeah, here's the light pole. So the property runs, it keeps going that way, probably another 200-300 feet. So yeah, there's there'll be a lot of work out here. So I'm just gonna start biting off little pieces of it, and we'll get this thing cleaned up. So I think I'm gonna start with that little tree right there. Get it trimmed up, get those branches moved over here, and then I'll work on that cedar tree probably. And then maybe I'll clean up this mess. Just kind of open up the front end of this place, and then I'll think we'll get over there and start going down that tree line so I can get to that fence and pull it out. So yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up and let you see some of the action. Better already. Get a little pile started over here, and that'll be our burn pile where we'll start. We'll end up making a big pile next to that burn pile so we can keep the burn small and just feed it as we need it. Since we got all these trees around, we don't want to get a big old gigantic fire going. That wouldn't do anybody any good. Well, maybe burn fast, but it might get out of control. And we don't want any of that. All right. Well, that looks pretty good. It's amazing what that little bit of chainsaw work will do. Oh yeah. Anybody want to play basketball? Yeah. All right. Let's walk over here and see about this cedar tree. See what's in the mix of this thing. It is all sorts of growed up. I don't know if you guys can even see in there, but that's a mess. I don't see anything crazy in there, so I think what I'll do is pick a spot. It looks like a good spot. We'll pick a spot there, and I'll get the chainsaw and I'll just saw my way in there, and I'll saw my way around, and then I'll get the grapple and the tractor and pull all that stuff out of the way. So yeah. take you guys in here. You can see I made myself a path in here, and then I cut all the low limbs off the base all the way around. So now what I'm gonna do is take that tractor with a grapple and come through here and push all that stuff, push it all out. And once I get all the loose stuff out, so there's all these little sprouts that have grown up in here, I'll turn that bush hog on and I'll just back in here and mow those things down. There's a couple big ones over there. There's one right there that goes out that way that I'll probably have to cut. And there's one over there that looks like it might need to be cut. So, yeah, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and do those before I get to tearing stuff up. Well, there you go. What's that look like for you guys? Looks like a big old cedar tree. I think I am going to take those bottom couple limbs off because I'd like to be a little bit higher. Yeah. Maybe just these two. I don't like that one scraggly one that's hanging down. Let's just get rid of it. Yeah, I can walk all the way underneath it now. I like that a lot better. All right, well, let me get that picked up, and I think we'll move on back there to the back. Well, this area is so grown up, I'm just gonna back the bush hog in there. It's my only option. I'm not gonna worry with trying to chainsaw that stuff out. I'm gonna just munch as much of it up as I can. And I might have to take the chainsaw to get to that fence row. Or I might just bring the excavator out here, pluck them out that way. But we're gonna start with shredder since that's what I got here. All right, made a little progress. Let me turn around and show you. So I got underneath this big pine tree. I'm just gonna take the excavator and pull all that stuff out, but I wanted to get up here close to this pine tree so you could see how big it is. I mean, I know this camera doesn't do it justice, but it's about 10 inches, my hand. Thing is massive. Big old tree. Sure be cool to get that thing cleaned up and all those branches out of it. That's a cool tree. And then I went around here. That fence line goes all the way that way, and then it turns and goes back that way. So I got up as close to it as I could. Got it cleaned out enough. You can get back here to this old barn. All this needs to be torn down, obviously. But now we can at least get back here to it so we can tear it down. A lot of old tin. Looks like they had some, it's like bunny coops. Maybe, I think it was bunnies. Bunch of trash back here. Old mason jars. Ain't no telling what they were doing with that. Just a bunch of old trash that needs to be cleaned up and gotten out of here. Found a toilet. There's old Dr. Pepper bottles down there. It's kind of cool. Don't see anything else worth any value out here other than a little bit of metal, a little scrap metal. An old camper topper. Seen better days. There's probably a snake or two underneath that. Big old pile of trash, or a big old oak tree. Some cool trees out here. It's gonna be a super cool place once we get it all cleaned up. There's a game trail running through here. the property goes down. Let's see if I can get down here to it. There's a little creek. Remember that creek I showed you at the beginning? It runs back this way and then turns. So this is actually the property line's a little bit on the other side of the creek, but it's got this little creek on it. It's kind of cool. Again, needs to be cleaned up, but it's got some potential. Some big old rocks. Look at that rock. That's cool. There's a bunch of big rocks down through here. This is the first time I've walked back here and hadn't been able to get to it. It's still, that's got briars, got me hung up. Get off me. Yeah, good Lord. Of course, I don't have a machete with me. Shouldn't be walking down here anyway. I'm out here by myself. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Man, look at those rocks. That is cool. You see this creek goes all the way down. It kind of meanders its way. All right, I kind of want to walk down it. I'm gonna walk it. You guys can walk it with me. See how muddy I can get my boots today. Man, there are some super cool rocks down here. I don't know if they show up that well on the camera or not. It's cool, super cool little area through here. Oh! Yeah, rocks are slick. I know. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. Yeah, you can see it, that big valley. So the property line is actually on the other side of that valley. So this is all on our property. It's very cool though. I love walking down creeks. You know what the bad part about walking down a creek is? There's only one bad thing that I can think of. What do you think it is? What could possibly be bad about walking down a creek? I mean, outside the obvious, like get hurt or run into a bear or a snake or something like that. I'm excluding all that. No, the only bad thing about walking down a creek is you got to walk back. Ain't nobody coming to get you. That's cool. Look at this. Old tree broke off, laying across there. Not sturdy enough for me to walk across, but it's cool nonetheless. Man, all these mossy boulders, it's cool. I love it. Yeah, the creek just keeps on going, and it ends up and it wraps around the backside of the property too. I'm not gonna walk that whole way. I am gonna walk up here though. Let's see what I can see from up here. Yeah, it's cool. Cool little area. See, it goes way down there. It's probably, well, I don't know, 40 foot down from where I'm standing. And it goes way back uphill. And you can kind of see the edge of that little house back there. And the tractor is over there somewhere. There's that other house that we can't get to. And then the property line goes kind of, actually, You see where that that clay is exposed there? Kind of runs right along that and then turns 90 and goes back that way to the other side of the house. So yeah, it's a super cool little property. All right, that's all the time I got out here today. So I'm gonna make my way back, get myself something to drink, and stop and get something to eat on the way home. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Bars of heartbeat, heartbeat, heartbeat.